What's that behind you with skull and crossbones?
It's actually a blanket.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of
All
those.
right.
It's one of those blankets that has the arms that go through it, so you can sit and.
Oh, what's the name for them?
Though
I've
this,
seen it advertised on TV.
yeah, this
As
one's
if
it's called a slanket.
theatrics, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But you've got an update Motorhead version.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So how's the web chat working out?
It's working out fine. Of course, all the technical faults and malfunctions you could ever hope to wish for are in full swinging progress. And, you know, I'm mentally deficient as far as computer use goes. So, it's a perfect day.
I was gonna ask you that. How involved are you with like, your website and Facebook and Twitter?
Not at all.
Mm.
And yet all the time.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's nothing that I want to become completely bogged down with. I did years ago an IATA broadcast, which was live webcam. This is all good, 12 years back. I loved that then. That's because the technology then was only it was brand new and it was experimental. And it was brilliant in America to be talking to politicians and American intellectuals and philosophers, because the rest of the world didn't consider such a thing existed. It was brilliant and I loved it. But the technology's moved on now to the point where everything I knew then is redundant now. And I don't really have the time of day or the patience to keep up with it. So, yes, I need help.
Well, it seems like you have people who can help you.
Cheering.
Yeah. Well, I'll volunteer to help you if you ever need. Computers is pretty much what I'm good at.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to ask you like about your book. Like, how did you decide that you wanted to put out such a personal scrapbook?
Um, well, I presume because you bought a copy, you must be interested in my life and what my life really is.
Mm-hmm.
And you must also then be aware of how many books have been put out about me by people that have never bothered to even speak to me, yet have the callous disregard to put their opinion of me above reality. And so I decided to put the scrapbook together and tell it truthfully from start to finish. I didn't consider it would be such a complicated project, but it turned out to be a work of great joy for the people all involved. Putting this book together with Concert Live and Rambo Stevens, the manager. I mean, we came up with something really, really special that required, yes, a lot of industry, but quite rightly so and all. And we've done all this outside of the publishing industry, so that we're not contaminated by such philosophies as this will sell or this won't. So it's the truth, the whole truth, and quite right and all. Pill alone should be understood for what it truly is. The pistol should be understood for what they truly is. And my mum and dad should be well respected by everybody because they made
me. That's a good point. That's part of what I love so much about the book was the first section where it's like childhood photos. And you see like, you with your dad at the beach wearing your ties and suits. And
yeah, well, it's the natural progression. It's the truth of my life. How I started, where I started, and what that's led into, and how one thing led to another. And none of it was planned or orchestrated. It's life is really it's a lucky draw. But what you could do is you can equip yourself well enough so that when an opportunity comes along, you're able to grasp its full significance. And that's why I consistently tell people, get yourself educated. Read everything. Keep up with every thought that's out there. Because otherwise you get left behind. And when an opportunity comes along, you won't understand it at the time. And you'll miss the boat. The world works best when none of us are greedy. And we share everything with each other. That's the story of my life. And that's the book.
That's a good philosophy to have. It's unfortunate that the majority of the people in the world don't agree.
Well, if more of us stand up and tell it how it really can be, and my life is a proof of that, that the world could be a wonderful place.
What
I'm
it,
still to this day telling you, Gandhi is your man.
yeah. Well, he said, "Be the change you want to see in the world," which I think is a great philosophy.
That's right.
Now, is this book?
I've adopted everything from Gandhi. I mean, the image is definite no-no for me. But I like the idea of passive resistance and that you can bring down fascist regimes and the cruelties and stiflements and entanglements of government. But just sheer passive resistance. Just say no.
Yeah.
Just no, that's it. What a shame that that was adopted by Nancy Reagan about drugs. Remember that campaign?
Just say no.
No. No.
Yeah.
Teenage sex. Just say no. That's different.
Yeah, that's kind of like putting your head in the sand.
Teenagers should not be denied having sex. This is them learning about how their bodies truly work. And anybody that tells you how not to use yours is wrong. Like religious groups telling you what is or is not acceptable by their philosophy. Well, it's about time now we stood up in the world and told religious groups that they have no right to practice idiocy.
I know I'm definitely against dogma, as you are, but does that preclude spirituality as well?
No, no, that's a different thing altogether.
Right.
That's a much more wonderful prospect.
That's because that's
Absolutely capable of achieving all kinds of delicious treats. That's your brain rewarding itself with endless joyous possibilities. And oddly enough, spirituality will always lead to generosity and a sense of equality with others.
yeah. It's too bad people don't necessarily practice what they preach. I think.
Well, get out there and spread the word.
Yeah. Now, I read a few years ago that you were working on a follow-up to your first autobiography that would cover the pill years.
Yeah.
Are you still working on that?
Well, now that we've put out this scrapbook, yeah, I think I can now look at that and handle that properly. What I didn't want to happen was a publishing company having the audacity to tell me what they think is a good or bad idea in a book about anything that I've worked so hard to keep and maintain its integrity on. The first book was, yeah, I finally got what I wanted in the end, but believe me, it was almost death by committee with the publishing companies. It's unbelievable how they will want to twist the truth into, well, this will be a better selling point.
Mm-hmm. Do you think
this is the world we live in, you know? It's not Garden of Eden anymore.
Have you thought about the same approach with your music, such as releasing it on the internet yourself without the...
Don't let a record company interfere.
Yeah.
The end result, of course, of that is the record company try to ultimately destroy you. But in an odd way, that's exactly what's helped me maintain a very healthy career.
Yeah.
I know how not to do things. It's quite good, that is.
That's half the battle.
Only half, though.
Yes. A friend
might not understand.
A friend of mine wanted me to ask you, she used to work for Penelope Spheris, the filmmaker, and she said that at one point they were going to make a movie about your life. And she,
yeah.
Is that happening?
Yeah, I got together there with Penelope and we sat down and thought that might be a rather good idea. But the second it ran into Hollywood committees, the whole thing became something really fucking revolting. You know, the financial backers and all these like wonderful people that promise you the world, they bring in these assholes called script writers who, you know, yes, they've studied your life story. They know your side of things. This is the way they put it. They go, but wouldn't this be better? Yeah. And suddenly, everything about your life is shifted into these cheeseball, fake dramatic scenes. Did you ever read No Irish, No Blacks?
Oh, I did.
Yeah. Well, you know, the meningitis situation. You know, when I'd lost my memory.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this one script writer, where, you know, working with Penelope, which is why we just let the project fold, because the script writer for the financial backers came in with this idea. Well, while you're in the coma, we'll have an angel appear on the top of the hospital ward. There'll be a choir singing, and hushed silence will then fade into a light appearing on your mother, who will say, "Please, Johnny," and then I'm miraculously awake. All right. Is that acceptable to you?
No.
It isn't to me, not at any price.
No.
You know, and I could have walked off with several million without any effort at all, allowing that kind of shit. But I didn't.
Well, that's.
I don't want your money at those prices.
Well, it's better. It's better off not to make a bad movie.
Too few people would co-opt themselves into a quagmire like that. But this is Mr. Rotten here, not the David Cassidy story.
I've always admired your absolute integrity. That's, I think, one of my favorite things about you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the schools I used to go to interpreted that as spite. But we live and learn. God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
I must move on.
All right.
Good talking.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.